them on that. Chris Nineham is Vice Chair of Stop the War Coalition. Chris, you were out on the streets yesterday, I think protesting primarily for a ceasefire. Why is this so important? Even if Israel agreed to one, is there any evidence that Hamas would? So what would be the point? Good evening.
Hi, yeah. Stop the War was one of the organisers of the protests yesterday, which we estimate to have had hundreds of thousands of people on it. Probably the biggest protest on the issue there's ever been in Britain.
Bigger than the Stop the War Iraq march, which I went on myself.
No, on the issue.
On this issue, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I said.
On Israel-Palestine, as it were.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. And as you say, the call was for ceasefire now, which, according to the latest polls, 75% of the British population agree with. It's not that we believe that a ceasefire would solve the problem fundamentally, but it would be a tiny step in that direction. And what it would do is to stop what is the most horrific kind of catastrophe that's taking place, which is primarily at the moment a catastrophe for the Palestinian people, but clearly is part of a growing kind of escalating spiral of violence in the Middle East, which we all know, if it continues, could easily lead to a regional war involving other actors. So this is just the bare minimum that I think that any humane person in the circumstances is likely to want to call for. And certainly, as I say, we have overwhelming support of the British public right across the board.
I mean, I've noted that there are also demonstrations in big cities of Israel against the bombing of Gaza too. Not in my name protests are springing up because the people who can see around this corner can see that you'll only make Hamas's ideology and its adherents stronger by trying to destroy them, and also you're putting the hostages' lives in danger if you are bombarding Gaza to dust. So I don't quite see what the dual objective is on the part of Israel as things stand. So, I have to say, I think you speak a lot of sense, but I do understand why Israel feels it's got no other option but to do what it is doing.
But the problem is that, there are other options in terms of foreign policy other than full-on conflict, full-on confrontation. And it's not just since the terrible events of the 7th of October that Israel has been pursuing these kind of confrontational policies. I mean, any pretense at pursuing a peace process has been abandoned by the Israeli state, 10, 15 years ago. So this is fundamentally, this is a product of the policy turn that has been pursued by the current Israeli government. This isn't, this didn't start on the 7th of October. This started when Netanyahu just said, we're not going to talk, we're not going to do peace, we're not interested in peace, we're not interested in the rights of Palestinians, we are only interested in ultra-violence.
How do you see, sorry to interrupt, sorry to interrupt, Chris, how do you see this escalating further if Israel, has a mass ground invasion, carries on bombarding? We see 1 or 2 million refugees spill out into Egypt, who doesn't want them, into the world community, who has no appetite for them either. I mean, if Israel doesn't agree to a ceasefire, what next?
Well, I mean, the first thing you've got to say really is the sort of unimaginable immediate human consequences. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm finding it difficult to kind of follow the thing on the media at the moment, just because even now, before the ground invasion is fully taken off, just the level of killing and the level of suffering is it's like unimaginable.
Chris.
So, I mean,
sorry, just one last thing, please, because I've got another guest waiting to come on. But yes, just lastly, how do you think history will judge our response to the events of October the 7th? Do you think there is a right side of history here?
Well, I mean, I think I have to say, I think a lot of the establishment will be judged as having failed miserably to step up in an absolutely desperate situation. There's no, in general, the political parties are not pursuing a policy that can lead to a sensible way forward. So, I mean, they're just standing back. And I mean, the Tory party and actually Keir Starmer have basically, until the last 48 hours or so, have basically been saying 100% support
standing behind
for Israel.
Absolutely. We're talking about Keir Starmer's posture after the 8th. Chris, thank you so much. That was Chris Nineham, Vice Chair of Stop the War Coalition, who helped organise the mass rally.